When deciding what is relevant in the industry, the West mostly decides what goes. So, for Måneskin, a strong push for their international career was the interest the Americans have shown towards them. Obviously, Måneskin were doing great on their own in Europe with their first albums and accolades, but once they hit America, that's when the big numbers started rolling in. And we've seen this happen with numerous British acts ever since the 60s when Beatlemania hit the Americas, but less so with other nationalities. So what gave Måneskin the advantage to climb so high? I'm addicted to rock and roll. Hi, my name is To Be Honest, and today we will talk about Måneskin and their rise to fame. I've split this video into 3 chapters: why being European is considered exotic or pretentious even, Måneskin's journey up to their recent album Rush, and lastly why Rush is such a strong album to cement their name in the international scene. Please don't get bored in the first part of the video cause it's essential context, and you can see by my outfit that I'm very dedicated to the topic. I want to start out by saying exotic is such a weird word to use about Europeans, but it's a term I've encountered lots and lots of time working with Western clients doing graphic design, and it's an ongoing trend, and it got me wondering, why do people think of us as exotic? Or actually, why do they think of anyone from anywhere around the world as being exotic? Well, the short of it, the internet is overrun by mostly Western influenced media, so anything outside of that could be considered a minority. And going back to Måneskin, the way punk and emo was seen as a minority, people found a peace of mind in being into something that was different than what the mainstream industry was. Same goes for K-pop, Eurodance music, and many others. Which I like to say is great, because we get more love for more culturally diverse arts. Throughout time, there are many European artists who have made it across the pond. I'm proudly represented by the Numa Numa song.
Numa
Numa, yeah. Numa Numa Numa, yeah. But though some notable mentions in recent days could be Rosalia, Mika, David Guetta, Swedish House Mafia, Sia, and even ABBA, yet another byproduct of Eurovision. Obviously, there are many more, but I don't have a word count to hit, and this video is about Måneskin anyways. You will, however, find that the most center around the UK, Spain, France, or the Scandinavian area. Rarer times we see Italy popping up. And that is to what I've noticed to be a rise in interest towards Italian culture. Which thank God, cause it's a cultural pot of gold. Don't even get me started on arts history, arts, architecture, and film in Venice, cause I'm gonna start to nerd out real quick. Yeah, I have a degree in fine arts. Isn't it obvious? It's useless. No, it's not. It's actually really good. On a very superficial level, the Western has been testing the waters with Italy ever since Gucci became the big boy in fashion again, recently, due to Alessandro Michele, and a lot of people started romanticizing the Italian life, and was more mainstreamed by the Gucci movie with Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, and Morbin time over here. And Måneskin is a pathway to that aesthetic exactly. There is a lot of great Italian music, but for the new generations, Måneskin is just what we needed: a bit of rock and freedom of expression with fashion on the side. And by freedom of expression, I mean exactly that not safe for work energy that is very present in the band's way of being. Which is funny because in some European countries we grew up with this stereotype of Italians going commando and how they are wild people with bad influence and fancy attitudes. Which, if we check by Måneskin, I'm afraid they actually do wear underwear. Granted, it's only the underwear. Bad influence? More like they know how to have fun, if you ask me. And attitude? I mean, why else do we love them, right? That's the thing about Europeans, which I think is a valuable advantage. Once we break through societal chains, we don't care and we can see how fake the Western gaze can be. Look at Måneskin, how self-aware they are about talking the truth of the industry and the scene life. And growing up in a country with such a rich history in arts may have helped them learn how to reiterate genres and tribute great music, just like the arts tend to reference themselves as they evolve throughout time. Another great advantage to Måneskin was obviously Eurovision, and I'll share my thoughts on that later as an ex-die-hard fan of the contest, but also their ties to rock. So enough context, and I'm surprised if you're still watching. With all of this context, now we can do a timeline of Måneskin's rise to international fame. I don't know how I feel about this makeup on me. Does it look good? Or do I look like the Hamburglar?
A few moments later.
This fit is giving me an attitude and I love it. Måneskin started very young with street performance, which Damiano later admitted helped them understand how to keep the audience engaged, which is reflected in their incendiary live sets. So Hosier looking dude here and the gang had a fair share of police encounters, as Vic once pointed out, up to the point where they got into the Italian X Factor, where we see a transition from Hosier to early Panic at the Disco looking looking outfits all the way to burlesque. Quite the change, but it all went into finding their expressive selves not only through music but also through their looks. Like Freddie Mercury always said, artists should represent themselves through garments. And there's a reason as to why I'm mentioning Freddie, because I was watching this performance recently and it gave me Måneskin energy. Obviously it's the other way around, but you get the point. That, and I always looked at Thomas and thought he kind of reminds me of Brian May. I don't know if it's just the presence, but the skills are in the same ballpark. And to extend this tangent, now that I think of it, I don't know what Damiano could be. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't get it out. Vic is obviously a combo between Blondie and David Bowie, and her personality on top of that. And Ethan is giving Trey Cool Phil Collins-ish esque. I don't know. I know people call him like Psycho Killer for rearranging songs he finds. But I think that's just his creative genius. Back to X Factor, they came in second, but they still got the ball rolling nationally with chart-topping hits. And now, if you'll follow me, we'll skip to Eurovision, not because their albums at the time were not important, but because I'm already making this video way longer than I planned. So I'll link you to this more in-depth chronology. Oh, Eurovision, the land of geopolitical votes, general chaos, and finger pointing. It's my favorite shit show to watch as an European, and I'm sure all my dear other Europeans can agree with my sentiment when I say no one watches Eurovision to be happy. Everyone gets frustrated. Scandals always come up. We just watch it for that juicy drama. Dear foreigners, you're missing out. Sadly, I stopped watching the show before Måneskin came on the scene, although it's the only year I kind of kept tabs on because Nikki Tutorials was there. But I didn't watch Måneskin, nor did I like them. Warning, this will upset viewers. I actively did not want to see Måneskin due to Eurovision's legacy, and frankly, besides ABBA, nothing I've ever enjoyed has come out of there, just one-hit wonders, like this gem. The white powder story surely didn't help, and the sudden fangirl energy a lot of my friends were showing scared me off. I've been a fan of so many sudden breakthroughs that I've seen and forgot many Austin Mahones along the way. Where is he nowadays anyways? Begging was everywhere I went, and I'm rarely a fan of covers, so I didn't even want to listen to it. If I only knew that they covered The Killer's Somebody Told Me, cause that says a lot about their music taste. And don't even get me started on Ed Sheeran's cover of You Need Me, Man, I Don't Need You. Cause if you can perfectly rap to that song, we need to be friends. It's the law. My avoidance changed though, as seeing them keep up the ball rolling and making people like Iggy Pop or Tom Morello getting involved. This triggered my alarm bells that were already activated by some TikToks of their live performances, which instantly make me ask if they were doing a Rocky Horror Show cosplay night. I'm joking. I'm only making these jokes because I'm eating it up. It's mostly a self-deprecating joke because why do I even know these references? So like I said, big names backing them up as in people I look up to, not big people as in giants, and their recent Grammy nomination were the perfect oil spill for me to slip on and fall face planting into their discography, which I fell in love with. One more thing I like to add about Måneskin, about their fans, because generally they're an awesome bunch, but there are some bad apples, and I want to make public my upset with the fact that some people love to hate Giorgia Soleri. Between her amazing writing and activism projects, we don't get that many women who openly talk about endometriosis, which I think is a vital thing that should be talked about, especially for young audiences. Like for a very long time I thought that is a normal experience of owning a uterus, but apparently I got the short end of the stick, and people like her can let everyone know that's not the way it should be. So stop it. Harassment is not cool. God, so I forgot to take notes on the loneliest. High tier music video. Highest? Debatable, but probably. But video plus lyrics plus song make a masterpiece. So this means we're in the rush segment of this video already. Speedrun, Supermodel and Mamma Mia, these two, and I Wanna Be a Slave, I think is everyone's way into their music, so I'm just gonna say that they're pop, kinky, energetic, all the good stuff. The videos are nice in concept, but I feel like they're a step back from I Wanna Be Your Slave video. They're good, but they feel like they're missing something in terms of post-editing, I think. Something about the visuals, filters, I don't know, but the loneliest, Chef's kiss. I'll say it now. It's one of those timeless ballads. To give a little introduction to the Rush segment, before I start a rapid fire of references, I want to say this album by far is not only a great balance of Italian and English songs, asterisks for international breakthrough. This is a good balance for breaking through the Western market, and a great balance between ballads and energetic fireballs. I like to note that the fact that they have so many tracks whilst putting the above mentioned songs at the bottom of the album shows from a producing standpoint that they had a shit ton of material they worked on and that they have quality material they want to put into focus, not recycling 3 songs for the whole album's promotion lifespan with 10 remixes of the best-selling single with pitch shifters to make an extra sale. Even Ghost did this, and most times it's the label asking for these tricks. So either way, Måneskin stick to their guns and kudos to that. From my little knowledge of Italiana, I found that Italiani are pretty upset with the fact that there is not a lot of Italian songs on this record. But if you look over the ratio of their entire discography, you can see that it actually balances out everything. Again, this balance in Rush is specifically made for this moment in time. I'm not saying this is forever, I'm saying this is a very good balance for now. Besides, it's their choice if they want to go full on Americano, but it doesn't look like that to me at least. Non ci tradirebbero. Ho ragione, vero? Måneskin. Back to Rush, the day Gossip's music video dropped was the day I realized that they're both about to be releasing an album and both that they are here to conquer. I'm not buttering anyone up here. What I mean by that is that without even watching or listening, I had that figured out. Because it had a little funny name called Tom Morello in there, and that was a church bell. Forget alarm bells. This was a big donking church bell. Mind you, I had no idea that the single or the album were coming out anytime soon. I just saw it on my YouTube homepage. Why such a reaction to seeing Morello? Well, I'm a 5 Seconds of Summer veteran here that went on a hiatus from keeping up with the band when things started getting into a rut, and the moment they unrutted and had their renaissance was the same time they did Teeth with Tom Morello. Still an 11 out of 10 slap and bop to this day. Tom never fails to mesmerize. It's funny because also the lyrics and aesthetic of Gossip remind me of No Shame, something from the same batch Teeth came out of. The video has this aesthetic which feels like you're taking a shot of sour lime. It's intentionally making you feel rigid and sterile, reminds me of Green Day's Basket Case, but also has the same eeriness I felt when Lonely Boy by the Black Keys came on TV when I was home alone after dark and the only light of the house was the TV. I don't know how to explain the feeling. And to add even more to my surprise, this other random morning I was going to university and wanted to put up some tunes while on the underground transit, and my Spotify was like, "Yo, Måneskin has an album out. Yo, that's cool, bet." I didn't say that. I would never say that. And On My Mind was a great starter, which set the mood for the album. I was surprised by Blah Blah Blah, not only by how much I liked it, but the lyrics themselves. I had to nicely pick up my jaw from the train's floor as I heard the line about performance issues due to drunkenness. We've all been there. But Dead Kennedys, too drunk to fuck much? With every line I felt my jaw getting more and more stuck to the floor. Still one of my faves up to this day. Funny that I mentioned the Dead Kennedys, but that's a good segue to Cool Kids, which to me is a perfect Dead Kennedys British underground scene emulation. It also reminded me of not so popularly known Pax AM Days by Fall Out Boy, a short extended play made in the style of the Dead Kennedys where the lead singer Patrick was also totally wasted while recording. Some references are more in your face than others, such as Mark Chapman, and for the kids who didn't catch the story, the band, or the movie with Morbin Time due to hear again, it's about John Lennon's killer. This song reminds me every day how scary it is to be a public figure since you never know who has hyper-fixated on you. Sheesh. And if we're moving into Italian songs territory, listening to Il Dono della Vita made me realize how important language is. I've often heard Damiano say that some things sound cringe in Italian, and I can totally relate that to my mother tongue and bands in my country. Bands singing the equivalent of blah 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 rarely manage to sound not distasteful. English gives it a nice vibe to it, but I think songs like Il Dono della Vita would sound cringe in English. It's too powerful for English. I can say I love you infinitely. I can say it to a croissant, I can say it to my life nemesis, but you can't make me say te iubesc It's not happening. I need to be drunk off my boots to actually say I love you to someone in my own language. And it's nice to see their tongue-in-cheek self-aware making jokes like white dust on a table as heard in field. Also rebel rebels. Nice. Also to slide into the lyric videos, which I will touch on soon, Feel and Time Zone both feel very similar to Panic! At the Disco's Girls Girls Boys video, but slightly bolder. That European attitude of we don't care, which we love. Talking about Europeans, it's nice to note Gasoline as being a very important song relating to recent events and how most Europeans feel about Mr. Wide here. Like I said, they might be breaking the American market, but they're still very rooted in European culture and values. And going back to me mentioning lyric videos, it's rare nowadays that bands put much effort in doing nice lyric videos. Most artists pay some videographers at some fancy agency to slap something together for YouTube views, whilst here we can see that they're as intricate as some official music videos. They totally go into early 2000 rock scene, most similar to Franz Ferdinand's Take Me Out video. A far stretch I could remember Mika's Relax Take It Easy in the sense that there is multimedia element to it, or even B.O.B. and Bruno Mars's Nothing on You. This song is 13 years old. Almost as old as some Måneskin fans. Just let that sink in. Some videos are a bit out of that aesthetic though. If Not For You, for example, looks like someone locked Damiano in Olafur Eliasson's art installation overnight at Tate London. But mostly these videos are in the range of multimedia, collage, 2000-2010-esque vibe. But I want to file a complaint. Besides the two wolves inside me that are screaming both, the lyrics are unreadable, so it's rubbish, but also it's artistic, so it doesn't matter. I want to say, how dare you? Babysit video looks like 480p even on full HD settings. The upload must have gotten corrupted, or someone really likes pissing people off for free, because this one I can't pass as artistic exploration. And one more thing, packaging. I used to teach a class about product packaging, and this limited edition vinyl, simple but effective. I love it. And whilst Måneskin are doing amazing right now and they are on the rise, I just hope that they don't get burnt out anytime soon. Because truth be told, sadly at this point I wouldn't be surprised for someone in the industry to come up to them and ask them, fine, Rush just came out, but what are you working on next? Which can totally mess up someone's idea of what things should be and how things should be happening. And if you ask me, for future projects, they should totally go into art, culture of Italian heritage. Or they could go full on religious angst like in Nome del Padre style. That would be spicy. Yes, we've seen Madonna crucified, but we haven't seen any religious angst in a long time in the industry. For conceptual and artistic advice, just call me. I've made 3 posters inspired by Rush, which you can download print quality if you join my Buy Me a Coffee. That's it. Multe grazie for watching, and I hope we'll meet again. Numai ei, chipul tău și dragostea din tei mi-amintesc de ochii tăi. It doesn't rhyme. Now I'm upset. My camera just didn't record me doing the whole video. Let's start over.